Hello, hello. I have arrived. Artist, archivist, future man, and tonight, alchemist. But don't tell the Wellix. You can call me Tiberius Vanderfield. Hello, hello. So, tonight we're playing some Atelier Yumia. That is tonight, as stated. So next stream will be on Friday is the plan. I wasn't 100% settled on what I wanted to play last time around. I think I did say that I was planning on playing, what's the game called? We just started playing it. Guardians of Azuma. Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma. For some reason, Atelier Yumia and Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma are games that I have had a very difficult time remembering the titles of, despite the fact that I'm playing them actively on stream. I suppose I've only played Guardians of Azuma once, but you get the point. Anyway, so that is the plan for Friday in theory. I'm thinking I might also play, or I might instead play some Uma Musume, because I've been enjoying that game quite a bit lately. It was definitely, from the fact that we played an Uma Musume game previously, you may have guessed that I had a prior interest in Uma Musume, and you would be correct. But having not seen the game, or, experienced much of it, like the actual gameplay, on account of it not being in English. I suppose there were guides and whatnot, so in theory I could have played it, and there was probably people out there who were making English content for it, or rather, again, English gameplay content. I was familiar with it through, the story of the game, individual character stories and whatnot, but what's the point I'm making here? Anyway. I wasn't super familiar with the gameplay of Uma Musume before I started playing it, and now that I have started playing it, I've been enjoying it a lot, basically, is what I mean to say. So, we might play that on Friday. Maybe. We'll see. On an unrelated note, I also saw that, unrelated note but similar topic, I also saw that Northern Lion apparently started playing Uma Musume. I'm not really much of a Northern Lion watcher myself. I do like clips of him every now and then, but I've never really gone out of my way to watch any of his streams. But I think that might be one that I go out of my way to watch. But anyway, other than that, right, Saturday, Arc Nights. We got a bit off topic there. Anyway, so you can expect the Friday stream to be around 8:30 p.m. Central Time, possibly a bit earlier if I manage to get things wrapped up sooner. And the Saturday stream you can expect around, oh, actually, hold on. Now that I think about it, Friday is the 4th of July, so it's going to be probably incredibly cacophonous. So maybe, the fireworks would probably be an issue. We'll see about Thursday. Either Thursday or in the morning, early afternoon on Wednesday. Or Wednesday? No. Friday, rather. Now that I think about it, it's probably not going to be great on the 5th, the evening of the 5th either, if history has told me anything. So, actually, I'm going to reschedule those, now that I think about it. So, probably we're going to do those earlier in the day, and we'll see when I make time for that. But anyway, other than that, the days should remain the same. But so, with that then, I suppose there's nothing better to do than to get into the game. But so, I almost delayed this stream, or canceled it perhaps. Well, not this stream specifically, but this game. almost canceled playing this game because I had thought that I had lost my my PlayStation 4 controller. But then I realized I have a functional controller. It's not in great shape, but I have a functional controller. It is an old Logitech controller whose specific model number is F310. But yeah, it's very old. Doesn't work that well, but it works fine. And it should do us just fine. But yeah, anyway, again, I say all of this because I wasn't able to find my PlayStation 4 controller, which I usually use for things here. But now that I look, now that I am just sort of seeing with my eyes rather than searching for it, I have seen where it is. So it shouldn't be big enough of a deal that I would feel the need to switch from one to the other. The sensitivity is a little bit off, but all the essential controls should be more or less the same. Am I not hitting these? No, that one definitely seems like it's hit. Okay. Okay, yeah, now that I look at them a little bit closer, they're definitely distinct colors. And I imagine that this will unlock the treasure chest. Anyway. Oh, hold on. Game audio. Let me fix that. I feel like we've been running into that issue recently a lot. There we go. Anyway. And open we go. So yes. So, another thing. I need to remember what we were doing. But yes, we were... Oh yes. We were going to go and... Yeah, clear out some monsters near the cathedral. So I guess it's convenient that we're already pretty close to the cathedral. Oh. Now that no, actually. Would that? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I was thinking about another thing with my controls, but we should be fine. Yeah, I remembered I have a shortcut set so that I can use my what's the word I'm looking for? My controller to take screenshots without having to reach over to the keyboard. And I was wondering if that would still work with the different controller, but yes, it does. Yeah, so now that I think about it, did I? Actually, I'm realizing that we are going to have some issues. Because, yeah, my right bumper is what we use to, switch over to items. Yeah, it's what we use to switch over to our items menu. And the right bumper on this controller is somewhat malfunctioning, which is why I have de-emphasized using it after it was my preferred controller for a while. So yes. I'm noticing now, it's also my control stick. Pressing in on the control stick is also a little bit inconsistent. So that might cause some issues for us with running, but it shouldn't be drastically problematic. Interesting. We did still get the dodge. The dodge went through on that, but we still got poisoned. At least it looked like we had gotten poisoned. I guess now that I see it, we don't seem to be poisoned, so maybe we didn't. I feel like I did some alchemy off stream between last stream and this, but I don't remember what I did now that I think about it. Okay, we've already activated that, it looks like. There should be... There it is. Ran in exactly the opposite direction. Yes, I was going to say there should be another of these blue tentacle creatures, and indeed there is. Alright, that's going to be a little bit annoying. I could probably rebind the control, at least temporarily. Oh, this is unfortunate. Okay, there we go. Alright, we don't have... Yeah. I was going to say, or I was going to try to make use of the stun, but we don't have that available right now. The situation is certainly not ideal. Yes. Alright, let's heal ourselves. Very good. Alright, good dodge. So yeah, it did look to me a little bit, again, like we'd been hit by the poison effect, but we don't seem to be poisoned, so I think we're fine. Yeah, I wonder if the issues that I'm having with controller are fixable, or if I've just kind of got to live with this. Again, we could very much switch out the controllers, but the game usually gets a little bit fussy with me when I try to start using a controller that wasn't connected to the computer prior to me. I wonder, can we fall onto that? I mean, we can definitely fall onto it. The question is whether or not we'll survive. This is probably not a good idea, especially because it's not what we were here to do. But if nothing else, I am here to explore. Okay, not bad. That didn't even take that much energy, honestly. Now, will we be able to get up onto this aqueduct? Yes, without too much difficulty. Alright. I was expecting this would be more difficult, to be honest. It looked like the sort of thing that was maybe unintentional, but it definitely seems like this is expected to a certain extent. Well, maybe a lapse in concentration was also expected, at least by anyone other than me. Interesting. Yes, a new type of flower. Very nice. We should probably get back to what we were doing. But we can pick up some mushrooms while we're on the way. Just sort of grab whatever we feel like. Ah, an Albert. Hello. Thank you for your generous gift. We'll unlock this fast travel point. Nebel Floodway. Yeah, I was sort of assuming that that aqueduct would be the way onto the one of those cliffs over there. I thought I saw something interesting on it, or at least something that stuck out to me. Yeah, probably we could just like get higher up on the cliff and then drop down to it though. Cave. I assume that this is... We're going to have to fight this to get access to that chest. Alright. I guess one benefit of using this controller now is that we do have... yes, one benefit of using this controller is that we do have the control prompts actually matching up to the buttons that are on the controller. Not that I'm looking at them, necessarily, to decide what I'm going to do, but... You know, you sort of instinctively... When the game says press A, I go to the controller that I go to the button that I recognize as being the A button. I don't look at it, I just do it, you know. And yeah, it doesn't always throw me off when we're using the PlayStation controller. But I do occasionally get the X button on the PlayStation controller mixed up with what the game is expecting the X button to be on a... Yes, on Xbox 360 or other similar sort of controller. A jewel made by refining coral. Ink and silver modeling are vestiges of the ingredients used in its production. Alright. We've gotten quite a few recipes already in a very short time. Alright, let's not get into too many more fights. We do have a mission to turn in. If we happen to run into a fight on the way, then I might not say no, but again, I would like to actually make progress in the video game that we're playing at some point in my life. Let's do just that.
アラディスまで来て金にならねえ慈善活動とか。やってらんねえ。
You can consider this payment for their allowing us to, you know, be here, basically.
それに誰かの力になるのは気持ちがいいものだろう。
お坊ちゃんはこれだから。いいか？冒険のロマンってのはな。
That's it. Yeah, throat's still a little bit off. But I should be fine.
でもルトがああ言いつつもいつもしっかり手伝ってくれるよね。
He's a good guy, that Rutger.
ほんとひねくれてるんだから。あら、そういうところが可愛いんじゃない。ルトガーは可愛い。フラミー。
Alright, this information is critical to our investigation. I wonder if that's actually going to be... Uh-oh. If the information about Rutger being cute is actually going to be in our database.
シルバ族のみんなだ。急ごう。
Yeah, we should probably do something about that.
こんな数潜んでるなんて。立て直さないと。
大丈夫ですか？
下がっていてください。ここは僕たちが引き受けます。
Look at these guys. These are quite the creatures.
確かに歯ごたえありそうね。
They do look tough. They don't look terribly aggressive, though, considering that they've just kind of been posturing here for a while. Alright, anyway. Yeah, I think does just seem to be a visual effect for being in the area of an attack. Yeah, I assumed that when they use a poison move, or what I assumed was a poison move. I guess I don't know that it was, now that I think about it. When I had seen an enemy use an ability with a green effect on it, and then saw the green effect on my character, I had assumed that they had been poisoned or something. But no, I think that's just the light from the visual effects. Ooh, very cool looking. Yes, you may be alarmed by the unusual magical looking spectacle, but do not worry. This is not alchemy in any way. Not in any way that you need to worry about. Yeah, I suppose I probably shouldn't use up all of my uses of the Flam, because we do, they are weak to that. Alright, let's heal. Get out of the way of that. Okay, got one stun, use a Flam. A little bit of extra damage, never hurt anyone except for the person that we're hitting with it. Gotta say, Nina does have some pretty cool ability animations. You might end up using her a lot just because she looks cool when she's in a fight. Alright. Launch a few more attacks. Yeah, they're certainly numerous. Oh, I was going to say they're certainly numerous, if not necessarily all that threatening. Alright, fine work. We won a fight is what happened. Indeed we did.
そうか。目を離した俺の落ち度だ。すまなかった。
He doesn't seem that pleased with our assistance.
俺たちは無事では済まなかっただろう。
Alright, now he seems a bit more pleased.
勇敢なる戦士たちに心よりの敬意を感謝する。
Alright. We may now have achieved a level of respect with the general population of the tribe. That's nice.
とにかく皆さんが無事でよかったです。
礼には礼をもって返す。それがウェルクスの誇りだ。
それがウェルクスの文化なんですね。私、ウェルクスについて全然知りませんでした。もしよければ、いろいろ教えてくれませんか？
I would like to learn a lot, yes.
ここはちょうどいい。
Give us all the information that you are willing to divulge.
入って大丈夫なんですか？
伝えたはずだ。礼には礼をもって返すと。部外者であろうが、その流儀は揺るがない。
そうでしたね。ありがとうございます。
Indeed. Very much appreciated. But yeah, so, where are we going? I assume inside the cathedral from the fact that it's the closest building, and they did say to go inside. Alright, we can't get up that way, unfortunately. Yeah, the looseness of the left stick is a little bit annoying.
これからも一生ついてい
But
き
we
ますって
can
こ
we
と？
can survive it.
盗み食いもサボりも全部バレる
Hmm.
ということで
Yes,
す。
further inside.
主からの命令です。忘れなさい。
Alright. I also want to learn about what's inside that treasure chest, but we'll save that for later.
お前たちは錬金術という言葉を知っているか？
Well, we have a passing familiarity with alchemy, I would say.
はい、聞いたことはあります。
We know a thing or
何
two.
の知識もなしにこの地を訪れたわけではないか。だが、これは知らないだろう。この地に大災害をもたらした禁忌の力、錬金術は
So yeah, so that would explain why they feel so strongly about
ウェルクス
alchemy.
が起源となって生み出されたのだ。
They created it, and then, with it having caused the disaster of this
ウェルクスの国によって
place,
生まれ発展した錬金術は人知を超える脅威となり、この国を滅ぼした。
very interesting.
錬金術は人間性すらもねじ曲げる禁術だ。使えば使うほど人ならざるものへと変貌していく。
人ならざるもの。
故に我々は生み出した技術を完全に放棄した。資料も
Very interesting.
何もかも罪を償い祈りを捧げ誠実に生き
So
る
yeah,
こと。
so they have, in short, they have
それが
rejected
ウ
that
ェル
which
クス
they
に
once
課せられ
created.
た鉄の掟なのだ。
Interesting.
ウェルクスは
I suppose that explains why they...
とも言うんです。ここもかつては
Yes,
多く
that
の人
explains
が
why
祈り
they...
を捧げたらしいです。
the chief
そういうことか。
was fairly familiar with it.
よく学んでいるようね。
The more learned among the Welix probably have a reasonable understanding of it, even if they likely haven't seen it themselves.
あらかた魔物は相当できたようだけど、特に問題ないかしら。
Can't help but wonder if something else is up with Claudia, though.
彼らが魔物との戦いで怪我を。
すぐに集落へ戻り、手当てをなさい。
はっ。
Every moment that we're with her, not in the immediate public eye, I do feel a little bit worried. But she's probably not going to try to kill us, considering that she has already established what she wants from us.
なんか用かよ。お前に言われた通り真面目にやってんぞこっちは。
And as Rutger said, we're already working on what she asked us to.
だから私からもお礼をしようかと思って。先ほど ウェルクスの掟について聞いていたわね。
We did indeed.
はい。まさか錬金術の発祥がウェルクスだったなんて。
けど彼らも知らないことがある。
Okay, so yeah, so it is as I
私から
thought.
少しだけ補足しようと思って。
それはぜひお願いします。
古来より私たちウェルクスの集落では
They
大いなる
worship
力
mana
マナを崇めてきた。
while still fearing mana-bound areas. I
かつて
suppose
は祈祷師たちが
that makes a certain amount of
大
sense.
地に祈りを捧
Again,
げ
they
る
don't
儀
seem
式を
to
行う場だった。
broadly
Ah,
don't seem to have much of
こ
a
れ
knowledge
くらい
about
の
mana
背景は
itself.
集落の民も知っている。ここから先が限られたものだけに伝わる真実よ。
限られたもの。
あなたたちが正しいことを知っていないと私の身も危ういから。
Interesting. What about this is going to be dangerous?
ウェルクスの祈祷師たちの中から奇跡の術を使う者が現れた。それは火をつける、風を生み出すといった一般的な魔法の領域をはるかに凌駕する万能の術。はじめに生み出したのは小さな太陽だったという。
This sounds like the prologue to a story about the
黄金色
disaster.
に輝き、雨の中でも消えないその光は
Little sun.
人々の暮らしを一変させた。街は昼夜を問わずこうこうと照らされていたそうよ。だからかつてアラディスに夜はなかった。それからも次々に新しい道具が生み出された。集落だけにとどまらずアラディス全域に知れ渡った。 そして当時まだ小国だったアラディスの皇帝はこの力こそが我らを導く希望の光だと信じたの。それ以降徐々にウェルクスの手を離れ国を挙げての研究が進んだ。や
That
が
looks
て
familiar.
新たな魔法分野として体系化されていき、奇跡の術は錬金術と呼ばれるようになり、特殊な力を持つ祈祷師たちも錬金術師
Yeah,
が
I'd assume that
その名を
the
変えた。
miraculous power then
これが本当
would
の
have been something
錬金術
distinct,
の始まりよ。
perhaps higher than standard alchemy, but it seems like that was simply the,
全く知
I
りま
wouldn't
せん
say
でした。
progenitor of it,
そ
but
んな背景があったなんて。
origin of it.
本来このことは民には明かさない決まりになってるの。錬金術には触れない、理解しない、大災害を繰り返さない。
Also interesting.
それが私たちの理念だから。
こん
Yes,
な大
also
切なこと
interesting to
教えてくれてありがとうございます。
think of this in the context
言ったでしょ。
of how they established
あな
that
たはきっと
magic is a thing
正
outside
しい
of
ことを
alchemy.
知った方がいい。
正しいこと。はい。私も私にとって何が一番正しいのかいつも考えるようにしています。
そうね。きっとあなたはそうあるべきだわ。そろそろ戻りましょう。私も仕事に戻らないと。
Very interesting indeed. Well, it feels like it would be strange to just go ahead and hunt some treasure after hearing a revelation like that. So why don't we go back to the settlement and speak a little bit more, perhaps learn a little bit more.
周辺の安全を確認。休息が可
Alright,
能で
where
す。
specifically do we need to go? I suppose it shows on the mini-map. We shouldn't have too much difficulty getting around the town as long as we know the direction we're going in. Dog. Oops. Very nice. Anyway. We need to talk with someone, presumably. I would assume, but not seeing anyone to talk to. We are definitely in the right location, though, right? Or is that an unrelated quest?
どこ行くんだ?
Oh, okay. So we do need to speak with this fellow. Okay.
何かあったんですか?
人間たちか.
It is the humans.
少し困ったことが起きていてな.
We certainly could help.
力を貸してもらえないか?
はい、喜んで.
What do you need from us?
この集落の近くにネル族という種族が住んで
Neru. Interesting.
彼らは魔物でありながら言語を理解して社会的な集団生活を営んでいる.
I wonder if this was the
言語?
creatures that we fought with earlier.
それって。
ネル族とシルア族の間には昔から争いが絶えなくてね。
Well, I suppose we'll see.
ことあるごとに戦いを繰り返してきたのだけど、この前の戦いで昔から使っていた武器がいくつか
I was
壊
wondering
れ
if
ちゃ
they
ったの
were
よ。
wanting us to help make war or help make peace, but it seems war,
加
probably.
えて集落の交渉がそろそろ年でね。代わりに誰に頼もうか悩んでいたところなの。
Well,
それ、レン。
I suppose.
調査団の方でも手伝いましょうか。壊れた武器くらいならすぐに準備できると思います。
人間たちに我らの求めるものが作れるのか?
We can certainly
手先は
try.
器用な方なので力になれるよう
Again,
頑張ります。
we will take this to the base that we built. Don't worry about how we get this
我々は
fixed.
こういう場所に住んでいることもあって
Yes, do not
常
worry.
に人手が足りないんだ.
それ
Concern
を言うな
yourself
ら
not.
調査団も同じ。協力できるところはしていきましょう。
危ない
Alright.
危ない。余計なことを口走りそうになった。
気をつけろよ、本当に.
Yes, Yumia's OPSEC is perhaps not the best in the
わか
world,
ってる。
but we haven't seen too
気を
much.
取り直して。素
Yeah,
材
we
を
haven't
集め
seen
つつ
too much
武器のレシピをまとめよう。
trouble from it as of this point. And we'll probably need to talk to some folks around here to get what we need then.
どこにしようかな。
Alex Quiver and Bow. Or no, do we already have that then? Or rather, do we already have what we need to... Whoops. Yes, do we already have what we need to make this happen? I'd appreciate it if you would work, controller. There we are.
どこ行くの?
Okay. That's unrelated, but... Now I'm curious. Storage finds. Is that something to do with... No, that wouldn't have anything to do with the warehouses and whatnot that we can construct, I don't think. I don't know. There's something that makes me curious about
こんに
this.
ちは。何してるんですか?
What are you doing?
おお、例の。ちょっと聞いてくれよ。
This fellow seems very friendly, unusually so, perhaps. Not unwelcome. Not unwelcome,
各
though.
地集めたガラクタを好き勝手ここに置いていくんだよ。ちゃんと整理しろって言っても聞かねえ。管理するこっちの気も知らねえで。なあ。
Those in charge of cleaning are always underappreciated.
はあ、やだやだ。いつになったら片付け終わるんだか。
Well, this doesn't seem to be relevant to the quest we're currently involved
よ
in,
かったら手伝い
but
ま
I'm
しょう
always
か?
willing to lend a hand.
本当か?
Yes, especially to those, again, who are involved with
大変そうで
cleaning.
すし。
はあ?
A deeply
なんで俺たちがゴミ掃除な
underappreciated
んてやんな
field.
きゃならねえんだよ。
Plus, we can probably find something useful in all this junk.
俺は降りるぜ。
If they don't need it, then we could probably use it. Oh. What on earth?
ちょっとルトが
Alright, every now and then, like,
ここにあるのはゴミではありません。
yes. The, like, home button equivalent on this controller. Ah, there are in fact valuables here, and that stopped Rutger in his tracks. Yeah, anyway, the home button on this controller, see, like, brings up a menu just about every other time that I press it. And pressing it is part of the shortcut to take screenshots. Rutger's definitely more interested now. Yeah, part of that is part of the shortcut for taking screenshots, which I am doing frequently.
ま、たまには人助けもいいもんだよな。
I think the person that Rutger is most interested in helping here is himself, but as long as he helps. Yes. Anyway, every now and then when I press it, it brings up a menu. Yeah, it brings up a menu, and this time I closed it, but I seem to have pressed something by accident when I did, because it tried to launch Marvel Rivals for some reason.
見つけた指輪3つと金の杯。あとはあの箱に入ってたコイン、ネックレスと。
Rutger is very enthusiastic now.
ルトが全部自分のものにする気なのかしらね。
Yeah, the especially strange part is the fact that it launched quite a while after I had closed the menu.
何をしてんのあいつは。
おいルトが私物化する前に一度
Yeah.
調査団に提出するんだぞ。
Oh, okay. That looks familiar. Well, I don't know that I was expecting to get it this early, or in what appeared to be a completely optional quest, but interesting, interesting.
名称はプロセラ。それ以上の情報は得られませんでした。
Well, I'm very glad that we picked up this quest.
あら、これは。
ニーナさん、見たことありますか？
いいえ、残念ながら。
It seems that Nina knows something. What do you know, Nina?
例えば、そうね。座面に見える部品に大きな車輪。乗って使える移動装置だったりして。
Does indeed look like that.
それはなんとも夢のある話だな。
A dream from before our adventure began.
馬車よりすごそう。
そうだよ。こういうネタを待ってたんだよ。おい、なんとかしてみろ。
Alright, it looks like we have something else that we need to repair here.
なんとかなるかな。動力部が壊れてるのかな。けどこんな複雑な構造。
So yeah, so it looks like we're not getting it right away, perhaps. You might need to go and find something.
これちょっと修理してみていいですか？
そのガラクタをか？別にいいが、どうやって直すんだ？
Well, I don't know how we intend to fix this,
動力部
but
の部品を取り替えてみようかなと。
I'm sure we will. And I'm sure it shouldn't take too long.
ちなみにこれってどこから回収されてきたんですか？似たような部品があれば流用したくて。
Alright, if we can get the Procella fixed,
確か
then I will be going. We will be going on that quest immediately.
ここはもういいからさっさと行ってこいよ。 手伝ってくれて助かったぜ。
No, thank you for allowing us to have this wondrous machine that doesn't function
あ
yet,
りがと
but
うございます。それじゃあお言葉に甘えて。
平明や学院
so
ここから南に下った場所だな。
I'm glad you know that.
さっさと行くぞ。
I'm glad you know that, Victor, because I certainly didn't.
片付けは全然乗り気じゃなかったくせに。
All right. So, we have our marching orders.
どこ行くの？
And soon... Oh, Well, I mean, I'm sure we can get there. Anyway. Do we... Nina. Well, yeah, okay. Let's just get going. I don't have any reason to believe that we can't get into the academy, considering that we've been given a quest now to get into it. I would assume that if it was gated by some amount of story progress or the sort, we probably wouldn't have been able to get the quest that requires us to go there just yet. But, again, we've never really put the openness of this open world to the test. Well, it looks like they make their barrels out of sterner stuff here. Probably that makes sense, considering that they are not literally relics of a centuries-old civilization, presumably, and are instead something that people have made for their everyday use. Alright, looks like we're not supposed to jump off of this. Probably that's a good idea to
ど
avoid
こへ行
doing.
きたいの？
We don't have a great view around here, but we should be able to get down this cliff by some means.
ちょっと休憩。
私も
This doesn't seem safe and is probably inadvisable, but
僕が見張りに立っておこう。
that's never stopped me before.
ちょっと高すぎたかも。エ
Alright.
ナジーがあって助かった。
Again, I probably don't need to be that careful about it, considering it doesn't seem to cost us that much energy to fall. Alright, what do we think? How far are we?
何しよっかな。
It's a little bit hard to see the path here, but I can definitely see that there is one. So yeah, so I think if we follow this road, we should more or less be able to make it to the academy before too long and without too much effort.
一休みしつつ荷物の。
武器の箱こっちに持ってきてくれ。
Alright, we've triggered another cutscene.
食料はこっちにお願い。急がなくてもいいからね。
設営早くないですか？許可もらったのついさっきのことですよね。
We did indeed just get the okay to build the base, but we spent a lot of that time building our own
もし
base.
かしてこうなることを見越して設営の準備を進めてたとか。
まあな、調査団たるものあらゆる状況を想定して動かなきゃ。
I suppose it makes sense to have the supplies you need and the materials you need to build bases on hand.
俺たちが成果を上げられるかどうかは、ユミヤの錬金術師としての力はもちろん、
Let's hope that there aren't any relics around here to hear us talk
お
about
前たち
alchemy.
皆の活躍にかかってる。これからもよろしく頼んだぞ。
Let's also hope that the base being set up here isn't going to gate us from further progress. No, it seems fine. Yeah, it just sort of seems to be another base.
何それ。
絡まってほどけなく。 このままで問
I
題
do
ない。
seem to be a little bit lost now, though. Whoop.
そや。よし、動いたね。
How do I activate? Strange. Anyway,
何が入ってるのか
I
な。
suppose I won't complain.
よいしょ。
Where are we going? This way.
今日は屋根のあるところで眠れるかしら。
Further this way. Okay.
高濃度マナ領域へ
We
の
are in a
侵
mana
入
bound area, so maybe the
エナジーは無駄遣いしないようにしてください。
it seems that some folks have mastered mysterious arts as well. Alright. You do you, I suppose. Where are we going? Probably in that general area? Whoops.
どこ行くんだ？
We are definitely getting off the trail, though. But there's a trail down here. So we can probably head to that fast travel point. I suppose we can drop down again. Well, again, I probably shouldn't be too free with my energy usage because we are in an area where a lack of energy would be bad. So yeah, so these are the folks that I was wondering if they were Neru. I'm assuming probably not. Maybe, maybe not. Alright. We'll try to avoid any confrontations while we're going through here. Some confrontation may be unavoidable, though. But I'm just not going to go out of my way to get into any fights. I'm not going to guarantee that I won't be getting in any fights. Is this the area? No, okay, we need to go the other way. Yes, again, I had already confirmed that the road was the way to get to the academy. So I should probably keep that in mind and not get distracted by every single... Oh dear. Every single patch of glowing sparkles that I see. Very interesting area, this. It's always interesting when you have an area in a game that is above ground, but very clearly based on an aquatic theme. Is this? Okay, no. Are you a threat? It seems so. Probably he's upset that we shot him, but, you know, he didn't get harmed by it. Alright, that sounds like an alder or something, but I don't know that we need to worry about that right now. Again, I have a very specific idea in mind of what I want to do, and I will stop at very little to get it done. Alright, now this is something. More creatures. Yeah, I suppose... Yeah, I was thinking that these individuals were the Neru, because they seem to have mastered tool use at the very least. Which seemed like a trait that monsters that could speak would have, but... Yeah, it doesn't seem that they... If they do have the ability to speak, these ones, they certainly didn't demonstrate it when they were threatening our new allies, the Welix, earlier. Alright, so somewhere in the academy, presumably, is what we need. The only question being what, of course. And of course, there was the... Yeah, they did point out... Are we in the right area anyway? Yes, okay. Yeah, there's a pedestal around here somewhere. I didn't see it earlier. But, it might be underground or something of the sort. So yes, I don't feel like testing my strength too much right now. I came here with a very specific purpose in mind, and I will not be satisfied until I have fulfilled it. We can repair this. It doesn't seem to be damaged per se, so much as it does seem to be encrusted with various bits of terrestrial sea life. But oh, they're already shooting fireworks off. Well, if that becomes a problem, I've already discussed it, I suppose, but unfortunate. You know, I was just thinking earlier today, is this something? Okay, this is, yeah. It's something. Probably not anything that we really care too much about, but it is a zip line. Are we? Oh, okay. Right. Anyway. So, Well, again, we did search on the top floor and didn't see anything of any real note, so it's entirely possible that there's nothing really to be found there. Let's restore our energy and dive in a little bit deeper into this sea-themed... Oh, they've got a couch. Nice. Sea-themed academy here. I wonder if things were like this, all aquatic, oceanic. I wonder if they were like that prior. Obviously, the place probably wasn't in such disarray previously. Oh. I get the feeling I don't want to be involved in this fight, to be honest, but I did walk into it, so... Alright. I wonder if they're... I mean, I guess we're not doing bad things, certainly. I should heal Rutger so that he doesn't die. Yes. I suppose he does have some self-healing, but not necessarily that much, you know. Okay, I was a little bit worried about this fight, but it is down to half health, and we're not dead yet, so could be worse. We'll heal Yumia as well. Rotate through our abilities, or our items, rather. Yeah, so I guess, given what we have seen, the fact that they have acknowledged the presence of magic as a thing outside of alchemy. Yeah, so probably we don't necessarily... I mean, it's a bit. I've been doing a bit, basically. Whenever I'm talking about how I need to be all secretive about our alchemy and whatnot. But yeah, even were there any real gameplay implications of us using abilities and whatnot around the area. I don't think we want to mess with that. We could fix it and get whatever's in there, but I don't care. Again, we've already established I am here for one thing and one thing only. And it looks like the creatures dwelling in this place may not necessarily take kindly to my presence. But such is the way of things. So this... Was there something that resembled a door somewhere? Ah, this resembles a ladder. So maybe, instead of having to go down, we just need to go further up. Okay. So this is a mana circulator. And we can activate it. I suppose there's no reason not to activate it while we're here, but... Again, I am singularly focused. I guess, yeah, it says unlock. So I guess I maybe need to activate the circulator. Alright, we'll clear the mana, and then we'll have a slightly safer, less fraught exploration of this place. Alright. This was indeed a large school from the looks of things. Oh, with that then, I wonder if our options have expanded any. Certainly it's easier to see around here, if nothing else. We do have an ad coming up. Oh, okay, the research team was quick to move in. Anyway, we do have an ad coming up, so... Let's go and let that play, and then we'll get back shortly. I've returned. I do wonder if we hadn't defeated the crab, if the research team would have still moved in. Maybe they would have learned how to coexist peacefully with it, and we've spoiled that opportunity, but such is the way of things sometimes. I'd appreciate it if we could scan this memory vial. I wonder if it is a memory vial, or... Well, that certainly didn't tell us anything. Maybe it's not. Full-grown fungus.
定期的にコンテナの整理をお願いします。
この後やろうと思ってたけ
This
ど
is something.
言われたか
Okay,
ら
this
や
is
る気なく
definitely a
なった
memory vial.
子供みたいなことを言っていないで作業を実施してください。情報の回収に成功。調査記録に保存します。
Where? Well, I guess I know where we're going, but
話があるとはいえ
what level are we going to, I should say?
怖いな
Alright, this is... Oh,
ユミヤ、探していた部品とはそれのことか。
I don't know, is it? I got distracted by the treasure chest. I did not see any parts. Unless the part is in the treasure
ダメです
chest.
ね。さっぱり仕組みがわかりません。これを装置に組み込むのはちょっと厳しいかもです。
Seems that we might be slightly delayed.
ちょい待ち？話はまだ終わってないし。要は私が扱えるようにすればいい話だから、これを元に改造してみるよ。
Hopefully we have a good idea of what we're doing. Because I would like to not destroy the Procella before we get started.
フラミ、ちょっと相談させて。これどうすればいいと思う？
The obvious look of disdain on Yumia's face there was also very amusing. Does not appreciate Rutger's sass.
構造不明部分を補いつつ
あいつなんだかんだ楽しんでねえか。
物を作るのが好きなのね。
これならなんとかなりそう。
Alright, so we need to create something with alchemy. So yes, it does seem that the research team just kind of exists alongside these creatures now. Oh, okay, so that is a Naru. Okay. So yeah, from how Victor and Isla brought up Vesper earlier, likened the Naru to Vesper, I'd assumed that these creatures that we had seen fighting the Welix earlier probably would not be the Naru. I'd assumed that they would not be, because I would assume... Yeah, I don't know. I had assumed that since they... Did something just fall? Since, again, Victor and Isla had brought up Vesper, I had assumed that they would... It was sort of implying that the Naru were Vesper's people. But it seems that that is not the case. Ah, okay, so... Oh, okay, so we need to repair both sides of it. I wonder if that's been true of other zip lines as well. I don't remember ever having to activate both sides of a zip line, but I've also not used them very much. Alright, so let's not forget about the solution about actually solving this puzzle immediately. Probably that would have been more useful if we had activated that on the way in. That's quite the remarkable creature there. Unknown gigantic creature. Alright, fair enough. Okay, gigantic creatures. You may encounter gigantic creatures in various places throughout the Seavash region. Special items can be gathered from places where these creatures are present. Okay. Yeah, because I saw the defeat the raiding monsters prompt there. And I was wondering if that was related to this, but it seems like no. Yeah, it doesn't seem that we can interact with this creature directly.
これ
Marvelous creature it is, too.
何これ
Alright, you know, this calls for a picture, I think. Look at this guy. Yeah, we might need to get a little bit closer to get a better photo.
いつか思い出になるかな
We'll take a quick little shot. We might set up a more dramatic photo sometime later. But for now, I think we'll live with this. There we go. Anyway. So yes, so this is a gigantic creature, certainly.
作る工程が一番難しいっていう
Doesn't seem... Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in the immediate area. Because, yeah, that's just mana. Energy. Not seeing anything in the immediate area that is out of the ordinary. Or that we couldn't get otherwise. Because, yeah... A little bit too far away to scan it.
見つけた
Yeah, again, that seems to just be a normal material.
これって まだまだ
Maybe we need to wait for it to move to a certain spot. Or again, maybe this just happens to be, yeah, the special materials you get from around it just happen to be wherever, more or less.
この辺りでしか見ない魔物もいるのね
They kind of spawn in areas where other things spawn,
腕が鳴るな
rather than them directly spawning other
銃の手入れ
things.
もしっかりして備えておかなきゃね
Again, so far, there doesn't seem to be much we can do with or about it.
何これ
Oh, okay, so we can build here, it seems like. Or, okay. Maybe? Okay, yes. This is a nice place to build in, also. I don't know that I'm going to build anything here. At least not right now, but... Yeah, it does seem to be maybe not the best place, considering that there are kind of Neru all over the place, and they don't seem terribly friendly. But yeah, so these, again, do definitely seem to be... Whoops.
これで砕く
There we are. You definitely seem to be the Neru.
せーの
I wonder if that has something to do... I don't know. At this point, I'm just kind of wondering if every item spawn that happens to be around this gigantic creature is in some way related to the gigantic creature.
なるほど
Because they were talking about gigantic creatures being related to special items and whatnot. Again, we probably don't need to worry about it right now. I did come here for a very specific thing, and I now have it, so let's probably move on. We could set up a base here, but I want to use the base we already built.
さてどこから回ろうかしら
Also, we should probably elect what we... Whoops. Elect what we had growing here. Alright. Yes. Oops, nope. How do I... Remove. Okay. No, there was a way to do that. There was a different way to do that. Do we want to do anything with these? I don't know if any of these are very interesting. Actually, let's see about replicating some of our rarer items. Some of these might not necessarily be... Oh, okay. I wonder if this counts towards obtaining mossy forest relics. Give it a minute. Yes, okay. Yeah, I guess I had assumed that, you know, they were something special, considering we only found, like, the one in that one area. But they seem to be an item just like any other, as evidenced by the fact that we can replicate them. So yes. So, we need machine parts. Where are machine parts? Oh, no, we need to... Yeah, we need the recipe first, right. Alright. Building. Alright. Workbench. Set that against the wall there. Also, I noticed that one of the... Or wait, no, we don't need the workbench. Unrelated, but I did also notice that this was clipping with the wall, I think, if I remember correctly. It was indeed. Okay. We don't want that. So, where? Furniture. Hold on. Recipe recall station. There we go. No better place to perform recipe recall than at a recipe recall station, I would say. So, revival bouquet. Oh, interesting. So probably that allows us to get not enemies, maybe enemies also, but probably it would be more useful for us to use it as a way to revive our teammates. And it looks like we have quite a few additional things that we can learn the recipe for now. I'd taken note of that earlier, I suppose, but... Oh. Is this? Wait. Trailblazer seed. Did this? Okay. So we can make that again. Can we? Or no, maybe it's just there because we did learn it. Anyway, again, we came here for something specific, so let's learn how to make that thing, and then make that thing, and then we can have our cool moment. Parts for the transportation device, which were adjusted by Yumia into something she can use. This was made possible by using Flami as a replacement for the power source. Alright, so, we have a recipe. Now we shall make it. Alright, so, with this, we'll put in the old replacement parts. I wonder... Alright. I'm sure it's not important, but being the sort of person that I am, I know I would never be satisfied unless I were to read the description of them. Yes, quantity. I don't know if we actually have the parts. Oh yes, we do. Alright, I've got to read the flavor text for these. Oh, right. I forgot, we do have our little journal here. Replacement parts that Yumia found which are believed to be used for a transportation device. At the present, Yumia cannot make sense of how to use them. Alright, anyway, with that then, let us fix this machine. Or rather, let's fix the parts that we use to fix the machine. Again, I don't have any reason to believe that anything we do here actually has any particular bearing on anything, but why not do the best we can? World chip. Okay, this is pretty good. And since we already have all of the mana we could possibly have, let's go for quality. Oh, I guess, yeah, the aura gemstones have the best quality of anything that we have here, so... Alright. We did clip through the wall a little bit there when we were doing our alchemy, but that's perfectly fine. It was just the camera that clipped, so we don't need to worry about being discovered. Also, is the roof open? No. I was going to say I had seen some sunlight there, but it seems to be nothing of any particular worry.
あとは動いてくれることを祈るのみ。
Yes. I, for one, am excited.
温室の中のもの。
Anyway, don't worry about it, Isla. There's a bed right upstairs. You can go take a nap. In the meantime, I will be repairing a mysterious transportation device. Ah, this is a shrine also. Probably we need to activate something nearby to get it into a usable state. Anyway. Where are we going, actually? Hold on.
どこへ行きたいの?
Yeah, it was sort of on the edge of the settlement. Okay, there we go. So we are... Where are we? Okay, we're on the bridge. We can just jump in the water, it's fine. We... Oh, was I? Okay. Probably I could have also made the bow and arrow while we were there, save myself a little bit of time later, but oh well. In my eagerness, I did sort of forget the practicalities of the situation. Such is the way of things, but oh well. Alright, don't want to fall in the water there. Not that it would be especially harmful, but I feel like it would be inefficient. Alright. Here we are. If we can... There we go. Alright. Refurbished parts. I certainly hope so. I'd appreciate it if you had commented on us making a mistake before we made it twice. Very nice. Even slick and shiny. Yumia's got a real talent for body restoration on vehicles as well, it seems. Very nice.
ちょっと動力の構造がわからなかったので、代わりにフラミーを使う形に改造しました。
そんなんで大丈夫なの?
Sure, we'll figure it out.
問題ありません、アイラ。フラミーは超高性能自立型探索補助装置です。どんな役目も完璧に遂行します。面白い発想ね。
よし。
Alright.
それじゃあ、早速動かしてみますか。
Let's go for it. We have the need for speed.
いつでもいいよ、フラミー。
承知しました。では、装置起動します。楽しみね。
ここからどうするんだっけ?
Probably should have tested the controls a little bit before we went full power, but oh well. Nice.
Oh, 行っちゃった。
乗せてくれって言わなくてよかったぜ。
Excellent. Very fun.
ねえ、人が乗っていい速度ってあるよね。
フラミーは完璧な補助装置として理想を追求しただけです。制御できない弓矢側に問題が。
ない。あんなの誰にも制御できないバカ。
Angriest we've ever seen Yumia, I think. I hope we're still alive.
とりあえず速度調整はした。今度こそ普通の乗り物として使えるはず。
I hope it's very funny, Victor.
状況。
Alchemy is taboo because the entire civilization of Aladis was destroyed by traffic accidents. Select Procella from the radial menu in order to ride it. Doing so will gradually expend your energy, but your movement speed will be greatly increased. Additionally, actions such as boosting and wall jumps can be acquired by visiting Shrines of Prayer. Alright. I am ready for this.
ポーチ
Hold
もう
on.
パンパンだ。これ以上
Procella.
は何も持てないな。
Very nice. We can't take photos while we're riding it. That's a shame. Alright. Very, very cool. Hello there. Do we... Okay, there we go. Yes, thank you kindly. Salamander down. In the real world, that refers to asbestos, so don't breathe that in, I suppose. I suppose I should say that it used to refer to asbestos. I don't think many people call it that anymore. Then again, most people probably don't deal with asbestos very much anymore, ideally. I suppose there are probably some... Would there still be any applications for it? I mean, I'm sure it's not any less useful than it ever was. It's just we understand the dangers of it, I suppose. Turns on a dime, this thing, doesn't it? Probably we should be driving it somewhere a little bit further away from all these beavers, because they are, it seems, taking some exception to our reckless driving in their general vicinity. Alright. Very nice. Alright, anyway. Now that we fought those beavers, we can get back to our joyride. Also, I can't believe... hold on. Where are we, actually? Okay, yeah, so this is the canyon. I'm surprised I didn't notice this earlier. I like that we can jump in place. That's also fun. It's very slightly inconvenient that we do have to open the menu every time that we want to get on this thing, but I suppose we can set our shortcuts. There we go. That's what they're called. How do I do that again? It's been a while. Let's see. There we go. Add to favorites. Yeah, so we'll put that onto the right bumper. There we are. Very nice. Yes, we definitely aren't doing anything useful here, but I, for one, am having a good time. So yeah, so I wonder if going to previously visited Shrines of Prayer will allow us to... Nina's getting a little bit philosophical, it seems.
枯れた花は抜かれ、新しい種を植えられる。それだけのことだ。
Alright. I'm very, very, very glad that we now have this machine. Yes, it doesn't feel that fast at this point, especially because, again, we do still need to get off the vehicle in order to be able to activate things and wall jump and whatnot. But again, they did specifically say that boosting and wall jumping and whatnot were abilities that we would get. Actually, when it says that we would need to unlock those by going to Shrines of Prayer, I wonder if they meant that in terms of oh, okay. never mind. Or wait, hold on. Is this... Hold on. Is this a thing that we've been able to do for a while? This doesn't seem to be relevant to the Procella, but anyway, I was going to say, I was thinking maybe it had something to do with the skill trees. Like we would need to go to the Shrines of Prayer to get the cores to be able to get... Yeah, cores to be able to get the skills necessary to unlock these functions on the Procella. But no, given that we can now... I don't know. Again, I'm inclined to say that we can now. But I don't know that we weren't able to do this earlier and I just didn't notice it. So yeah. I suppose we'll get some upgrades? Okay, yes. Boost while riding. Okay, okay. Yes, can wall jump while riding. Alright, I was expecting this would also be a while that we would spend not able to do a lot of these things. Double jump in the air. Ah, nice. We sure are burning through a lot of cores here, but oh well. Triple jump in the air. Alright, well, anyway. That's fun. And so... I don't know if I'm just imagining it, but it does... Oh, we can shoot while on this thing. That's neat. Yeah, I don't see any sort of... Alright, our jumping capabilities are still not great on this, but they are not non-existent. So how do we boost, I wonder? Because they said that we can do that, but they didn't say how. Ah, okay. The same way that you dash. Makes sense. Oop. Alright, I should probably not fool around too much. But I am having an incredible amount of fun. And really, isn't that what we're here for? Not every day that you get a functional motorcycle in a fantasy crafting RPG. Doesn't do well with stairs, but I suppose most motorcycles probably don't either. I was kind of thinking that the boost function might stay active if I held down the stick, but no, it does seem to just be a boost rather than a higher gear. So yeah, we're going to hear the boost sound a whole lot if I want to get around quickly. But I probably shouldn't be trying to get around too quickly because then we're going to run into things, literally or figuratively. Anyway, I'm excited. I'm happy with what we've done here. So yes, we do still have quests to do, of course. So probably we should do that, but... Anyway. Yeah, I was simply so thrilled by what we've done here that I could not do anything but go for a little bit of a ride. Yeah, I guess, yeah, this also reveals that we can now use, again, I'm inclined to say now, because I haven't seen this ability up until now, but we still don't have any reason to believe that we did just now get the ability to make use of the shrines to activate this. That's it. So yeah, so given what we've learned about the Welix also, with these shrines of prayer, or with their, general attitude of piety. That makes the name of these shrines of prayer make a little bit more sense. We need to get the recipe for the relics bow. We might. Indeed we do. Relics bow and quiver. A new set of bows and quivers for the relics. Care has been taken to ensure their sturdiness after hearing that their old ones had broken. Alright. Do we want to get some more recipes while we're here? Probably. Yes, we can get another sort of metal, it seems. Violet urs. Metal that resembles a transparent jewel. It's divided into two layers. This isn't two separate pieces of the same metal stocked on top of each other. It's quite heavy, so it's not an ideal replacement for real jewels. Alright, Metal Claw. I wonder if these are just better versions of the things that we already have, or if they're just sort of different in various ways. Yeah, if the Violet Urs is just better than normal ingots, or if it's simply different, and the Metal Claw versus the normal claw. A very tough cloth. It was created for people who want to make sturdy clothing with unique designs. That sounds like Isla. Graciolite. A transparent, bright cyan jewel. It was originally purple, but exposure to strong light has turned it cyan. This seems to be the best form to tap into the full power of the jewel. Coral chips. Jewel, yeah, we've seen that before. Void components. The purple crystal gathered in the Sea of Decay that contains a special power. The most effective way to release the crystal's power is to use it for synthesis. Distilled water. We don't have... We need subterranean water for that, interestingly. Jade miasma. We don't necessarily want to use all our particles, so I'll save the ones that cost particles we don't have for a little bit here. Grass with a beautiful red color, or I should say red pseudanthium. It looks like a flower when seen from far away, but looking closely into it reveals it to be an intertwined bundle of grass. Bungstone. Yeah, we've got a lot of different things around here. A lot of different implications of things, perhaps. Oh, this is new. So I wonder if this would be a new weapon. Sword that floats in the air. It is capable of cloning itself to attack enemies in accordance with its wielder's movements. Interesting. So I suppose that does magic damage, probably. If I were to assume. Yes. Then the meteor. A double-ended blade clad in light. While it may look unassuming, the blades contain the power of fire, burning targets on contact. Alright, now I'm interested. So a luft. Is that... Okay, so the luft is different. It says consumable items. These items definitely are not consumable. Or at least we haven't consumed any in the general passage of time. Yeah, fire damage, fire follow-up, speed down, or defense down, speed down. Okay, so that is what it is. Oh no, I'm going through the wrong part of the menu. Oh dear. So, equipment. Alright, so what is... Maybe we need to actually make it before we can... Or maybe this just isn't an item, like a piece of equipment. Yeah, meteor. Or whoops. Huh. Meteor shower. Magic tools? Okay, so these do seem to
そろ
be...
そろ移動しないと。
Okay. Let's take a moment. Because I get the feeling that I'm not understanding something properly here. I guess, yeah, we haven't made any of those. Yeah, we haven't made any of those, so I wouldn't find them in that menu anyway. But yeah, some items. Okay, yes. I wanted to double check that the Sadness Shuttle and whatnot were not something was not something that was somewhere else that I had simply forgotten about the presence of.
何作ろうかな。
Okay, now I'm very interested to see how the meteor and the mirage sword and whatnot work. So yeah, so these are all single target. This is a single target. This is an area. So, okay, so these all seem to be... I looked at the like, magic wand, cane, staff icon, and I wondered if that implied something about the damage type or something. But now I wonder if it just does, you know, the damage type that its element would imply. Phantom reflection. Okay, so yes, deals. Okay, so these are things that we can equip onto our characters. Deals critical damage, or increases critical damage when used behind the target. Interesting, okay. Okay. So yeah, so again, some tools are used... Oh, okay. Oh. Shorten negative effect, extend positive effect. Okay, so yeah, we are seeing the differences in some of these items. Okay, I'm glad that I decided to look into that. Because again, you know, we've got a few different items. Yeah, the Woodland Remedy, if you improve that, can give defense up and max HP up. Whereas the Harp gives, heals and removes debuffs and lengthens, or it doesn't remove them, but it shortens debuffs and lengthens buffs. Okay. So yeah, so again, it does seem that specifically, well, I was going to say that specifically gear that you use, you know, is meant to do damage, whereas other things are supportive items. But I suppose some of these items can be used to inflict debuffs as well. Again, now I'm curious. So what do we need to... I guess we need to improve the quality, maybe. You know what, let's prioritize, prioritize effect. We're not actually going to make this, per se. But I want to see the best we can get out of it. Because, I don't... fire damage 3. Does it say... Cooldown, quality. Yeah, none of these say anything about... none of these say anything about the... What was it? The defense debuff or whatnot? That was associated with the Flam earlier. It might be that it just does that naturally, or has a chance to do that. And just making it better just gives it more damage, essentially. Anyway, you maybe could have made that, and maybe should have made that while we had the chance, but I'm not too worried. Yeah, so it appears that these are just sort of, straightforward items, whereas these ones have more specific effects on them. Yes, Meteoric Strike deals fire damage. Damage is increased when there is only one target. Deals fire damage. Okay, they both deal more damage with only one target. Reduces cooldowns when you defeat an enemy. Okay, that could be interesting. So, Yeah, this doesn't say anything about that specifically. No, level times 5%, actually. So, yeah. So, improving the item... Actually, would we need to improve the defense down or the item itself? Actually, now that I think about it, it might be that some of these traits, we can't access them because we don't have the appropriate skills yet or something like that. Yeah, fire follow-up. Doesn't say anything in specific. And yeah, fire damage is just deals fire damage. Fair enough. Interesting, interesting. But yeah. Anyway. So I had been wanting to go a little bit further. And I think we might as well go ahead and make the bow and arrow while we're here at least. But yeah, I was hoping to go for 2.5 to 3 hours or something like that today. But I don't know. I don't think I have quite that much in me today. Unfortunately. Again, I don't think this is like necessary or actually valuable, but it makes me feel better to give them a relatively high quality bow. I don't know that we need to make it the world's best bow, but... Or I should say a set of bows. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's a slightly different dance than at least some of the ones we've seen before. I guess because it's a plot-relevant item. You know, there's a part of me that's tempted to build a... There's a part of me that's tempted to build a garage onto this building. Obviously, that's not relevant and would not benefit us in any way, but it would be fun. I've gotten very invested in this base for it being just, in theory, just another base. How do we get this? Oh, okay. We just leave the menu. Okay. Anyway, so we got all the Mossy Forest relics we need and then some. So I suppose we'll remove this. Yeah, again, we'll prioritize things that we don't have a lot of. Ideally also things that are, like, good. But do we... I don't know if there's anything we especially care to make at this point. But again, just having the things that... Yeah, making the things that we only have one of into things that we have more than one of would be good. Just sort of on... If for no other reason than because it makes it so we're less likely to run out of anything. Intentionally or otherwise. Well, no, not... If we're trying to run out of things intentionally, then it doesn't matter. But yes. Less likely to unintentionally use up the last of anything that we have. Okay, anyway. So, with that, let's wrap up. But yeah. Atelier Yumia. Had a lot of fun. We got a motorcycle, so yeah. Definitely pleased with that. Yeah, ever since I saw that in the intro, I was very, very interested. And I'm glad that we have it now. But yes. But, one way or the other, that is not the only thing to consider, because now we have a stream to end. So, as per usual, if anyone has any suggestions, I would be delighted to hear them. If not, I can find a target on my own. Yeah. Target on my own. What do I usually say? Hold on. Yes. Yeah. Oh, business. Right. We'll go over the business. So yeah. So again, the fact that I just remembered the fact that the 4th of July is on July 4th this year, if you can believe it, has thrown a bit of a wrench in my plans because I was initially planning on... Yeah, I was initially planning on streaming at roughly the usual time on Friday and Saturday. But now that I think about it, probably I want to get the stream done early so we don't have the constant sound of explosions in the background. Maybe it'd be appropriate for some games, but it's not really my thing. But yeah, so anyway, So I will try to make some time for that earlier in the afternoon. Probably I'll have to I'll have to think about what I want and when I want to do that, because yeah. I'll also want to make sure that I'm walking my dog before the fireworks start getting intense. Yeah, my dog currently is not as upset by them as my previous dog was, but even so, I'm sure that, I know from experience, rather I should say, that being outside while fireworks are going off is a little bit stressful to him. So, ideally, again, I would like to make sure that that doesn't happen, while still allowing him to, go for a walk as close to his usual time as possible. And to be fair, I usually take him on a walk well before evening. But people also set off fireworks at weird times a lot of the time, so... Anyway, all of this is to say, probably we'll be streaming in the afternoon, possibly close to 1 on Friday and Saturday. Yes, I had also said earlier that I was thinking about streaming at around 8 on Saturday, but that's definitely not necessary because not Saturday, Friday. That's definitely not necessary because I don't work Friday on account of the holiday. But yes, so anyway, once again, Friday, I was planning on Guardians of Azuma, and we might still do that. But we might also do Uma Musume Pretty Derby. I might also do that. Anyway, one way or the other though, we will definitely play Arc Knights on Saturday, assuming that we play anything on Saturday at all. And I don't see any reason to believe that we wouldn't be doing anything on Saturday, so... With all that then, let us wrap up. Not seeing any raid suggestions. So... I think tonight we'll go and visit Marky-chan, who is playing some Sim City, it looks like, for the SNES. Yes. Whoop. I don't know if you heard the ad start to play there briefly. Yeah, anyway. Where was I? Oh yeah, Marky-chan. What was I saying? Sim City, right. Okay, yes. Once again, I'm a little bit tired. Yes, Marky-chan is playing Sim City for the SNES currently. Yeah. And doing an event of some variety. Yeah, it seems to be something of a marathon, perhaps? Maybe not, I don't know. Marathon might be a strong word, because I don't know if it's meant to be continuous, but anyway, his stream title says that there is something called Summer Chin going on, so I'm assuming it's an event of some variety. But yes, so with that, let's get this raid set up. Marky-chan. Alright. So yes, so with that, the customary raid message is, as always, we have arrived. And so, thank you all for being here tonight. I hope that you have had a fine night. I hope that you will continue to have a fine night every night. And I hope that you will be well until the next time I see you. Thank you all very much, and farewell. Let us get this raid underway. There, now let's get this raid underway.